Do our MPs really care? We ask all 5 local MPs for their views on welfare reform. Our attempt to get all of the Shropshire and Telford and Wrekin MPs to tell us their views on welfare reform has produced some interesting results. By the deadline of February the 10th, only 3 out of the 5 had replied. Those 3 were Owen Patterson, Conservative, North Shropshire, Daniel Kavinsky, Conservative, Shrewsbury and Atcham, and David Wright, Labour, Telford. Not a word from Philip Dunn, Ludlow, and Mark Pritchard, the Wrekin, both Conservative. But then the Shropshire Star rang up to ask how the project was going, and after we said Dunn and Pritchard had not replied, the reporter then rang the MPs. Magically, both wrote to us very promptly soon afterwards. The only MP to offer to discuss welfare reform issues with us and his constituents was Philip Dunn. Mark Pritchard said he would only respond to constituents, but in fact he was asked by a number of his constituents to respond to SDN, and it was made very clear to him that SDN covered the whole of Shropshire and Telford and Wrekin as a representative organisation. This whole process has left us with a number of questions, but not least because of 3 of the MPs replied with a stereotyped letter. Have disabled people in the constituencies of these MPs just not bothered to express their concerns, or perhaps felt unable to express their concerns? Have disabled people in these constituencies expressed their concerns but their MPs have simply ignored them? Have MPs simply failed to seek the views of disabled people and their carers in their constituencies before supporting the welfare reform bill? Whatever the reason, the fact that 3 MPs can respond with a centrally produced letter without apparently reflecting any local interests or concerns could be a reflection of the relationship between our political representatives and people with disabilities and their carers. Do you feel that the letters suggest concern about you as a constituent or who has a disability or as a carer of someone with additional needs? Are they a reasoned and thoughtful response or mindless reproduction of the government's line? You can visit this story on our website and read their replies. We've highlighted the identical sentences. We know that some MPs have been very uncomfortable about the content of the welfare reform bill and have had the courage to say so, but not all. We invited our 5 MPs to give us their views on the government's welfare reform bill and tell us their personal stance. We also asked about the likely impact of welfare reform on the disabled in the next 2 years, whether they believe the proposals are fit for purpose and the framework is ready to roll out with minimal disruption to the lives and livelihoods of the most vulnerable, what they think of the welfare reform Spartacus report and its very different analysis of the same data used by government. We included a copy of the report. Finally, we asked them to share with us their views on the likely impact on levels of trust between disabled people and their families on the one hand and the national government on the other. Now we're asking you if you think they've answered our questions. Let's have a debate about this very important matter of perception and representation of the views of disabled people by those who make the political decisions. We really want to know what you think about their comments, and we urge you to either vote in the poll on our website, send us an email to say what you think and who your MP is at info@shropshire-disability.net. Speak your mind in the comment box at the bottom of the website article. You have to be registered to do that, which only takes a couple of seconds. Someone or other once said that people get the politicians they deserve. Is that true for disabled people in Shropshire?